Minister Davletov, what have been the most successful initiatives in your area?
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me here. I think this event is very wonderful. For the last 5 years, Uzbekistan has been seeing sweeping and really systemic reforms in all parts of the public life. And if you ask me what prompted these reforms, I would say that the first is demand of the population and introduction of, easing of freedom of speech, and then the willingness of the public institutions to react to these demands. But the most important is, of course, the political will of the new leadership of Uzbekistan. So where we started from acknowledging openly the problems that we had, the forced labor, the ill treatment in prisons. Even the president in his official resolution acknowledged that there were problems with the inhuman treatment in prisons. That was a really brave step. So after that, we introduced many steps to open up the information, so access to information about public procurement, about expenditure on public construction, tax benefits on companies, privatization of state objects. And so we gave access 200 types of information in 33 directions, and 13,000 pieces of information were made available to the public. In 3 years, the position of Uzbekistan in open data inventory went up for 125 positions in just 3 years because of this new transparency regulations. Also, after that, the new administrative justice system has been introduced. Totally new courts have been set up, administrative courts with 150 new judges where people could sue the state agencies. And the society really welcomed this action. And they're already actively using their right to sue the state bodies. And for 1 year, where the courts are considering more than 15,000 cases, and 52% of them, they're winning the case against the state. So this is a really good change in terms of access to justice and due process and rule of law. Also, when you have a system of government agencies, the Republican level always, they attain to the really high standards. But you have middle level and the district level. So most of the problems we have with the middle and low level of state agencies. So because of these new tools, the society started to discipline them, suing them. And in one year, 2,500 decisions of the local executives were abolished by the courts. So this is a really good example of how the society can make the state bodies work. And the third direction is bureaucracy and corruption. So we did a lot on cutting the red tape, digging into the administrative procedures, the corruption risks and administrative burden. So we got rid of more than 3,000 pieces of legislation. So we used the principles of regulatory guillotine. It's almost 10% of the whole legal framework of Uzbekistan. 3,000 legal acts were abolished. And also the licensing. Licensing system always attracts corruption and bureaucracy. So we got rid of 105 types of the licensing cases. That's almost 1/3 of all types of licenses that we have. And everything went electronic. Licensing is electronic. Land allotment is electronic because the executive used to have these powers and they were really arbitrary decisions, just giving the land to the people that give money. So now that's not possible physically because this is all electronic auctioning, and already 5,000 land plots were already selling, and lots of money, billions, millions of dollars are pouring into the budget. And talking about bureaucracy, we got rid of 18 types, only 18 types of the documents that people needed to submit to the government agencies when applying for public services. It led to economy of at least $15 million, and it touched the lives of at least 12 million population of Uzbekistan. Just 18 types of documents, because this bureaucracy is, from the Soviet times, nobody did the business process re-engineering. So if you do these kind of things, it really changed the quality of life of people. But I would say that's not the end, because we have lots of more problems, and society is demanding. The expectations are higher than sometimes than the government agencies can deliver. But we're working on this. We know our problems and moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister.
Thank you.
Follow-up questions, but we're running long. If you don't mind, I just want to ask one follow-up question of the Minister, who spoke of the regulatory guillotine. I'm curious to know, Minister, which of the initiatives that you highlighted was the most difficult to pull off? Maybe it's the same thing as asking you what was the most satisfying success story that you can share with us. But I wanted to know about the difficulty being overcome.
Thank you. That's a very important question, because you have ideas. Some people in the government have ideas. They want to implement them and make life better. But we have the other part of the government who are working for ages in an old manner. Then it's the problem to get through these all, bureaucratic barriers. That is the quality of civil service is at the heart, because the government is responsible for everything that is happening in the society. It's not the people who blame, you have to blame the government. That's why it was very difficult for us to build a team, because our new president, of course, his political will, and he built a team, and we came around. Many people came back from other states. So expats came back. He was calling for everybody to come back and join him. So there was a critical mass of people who were directly working with the president and getting the ideas to him. So that is very difficult part of this.
Thank you.
Can I just say,
yes, please.
It's such a success story. Uzbekistan is an incredible success story for eradication in our world of forced labour, ratifying Convention 87, 98, freedom of unions. I'm hoping in December that I can actually announce to your government that Uzbekistan unions have become a full member. But the story for women in Uzbekistan and the law surrounding the rights of women is also inspirational. And your Minister Tansila is someone I dearly love. Just the force of commitment in that country shows you what you can do when people work together, governments, but also organisations in the society. So, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And about the success that you asked.
Yes, please.
So I want to give an example of one particular measure that we implemented about the decisions of the local executives. We made this online, so nobody would use any paper. Initiating, consulting with other experts, everything went electronic. So for the last 1 year that we introduced this, 170,000 decisions were made, and they all went online. And imagine the use of public money, for different purposes, so people could see this, even if you can, access any decision and you see where the money is going. And it caused a public condemnation about many decisions, and thousands of the decisions were repealed by their own, by the local executives. And it made us economy 1,700,000 pieces of paper. So it's almost 10 tons of paper. Just one measure. So I recommend this. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question from the audience is for both the Minister and the Justice. When introducing electronic mechanisms and making licensing completely digital, something that the Chief Justice also mentioned in her video statement. How do you ensure that it reaches the population that has limited access or no access at all to the internet?
That's very good questions. We introduced one-stop shops around the country. It's like 207 centers around Republic, and more than 150 their subsidiaries. So you can go there, and then you have free access to internet there, and they have the people who explain you and help you with that. But when we talk about the business organizations, they know how to use the internet, they have direct access, because in our times, if you are not having internet, you are not a business organization. So that's a compulsory for business organizations. But for people, it's not compulsory. But, I mean, not compulsory because you have to come to the public service center and then do it online in any way. You can't file it on paper.
Thank you.
That's the way out. Thank you.
If you could recommend one thing that will change the game, so to speak, and that will benefit rule of law communities around the world, what would it be?
My recommendation is to stick by universal values and rules, because some states, they cite their uniqueness and peculiarities. We have different historical background, religious background, but everybody knows that already the social contract, Hobbesian social contract, everybody knows that, they are known. Weberian state principles, they are known. Universal values are already formed. So don't cite the uniqueness of your country and stick by the universal values, because everywhere rule of law is transparency, independence of justice, anti-corruption, anti-bureaucracy. It works very well at the same level.
Thank you and good morning.
Thank you.